Towanda never planned to speak on it. Not publicly, not on camera, not even to the sisters she shared stages and spotlight with her whole life. But secrets have weight, and some secrets refuse to stay buried forever. She sat alone in a dim backstage hallway, hands shaking, voice recorder blinking red. The air was heavy, like truth itself was suffocating her. For years, the public believed the Braxton family conflicts were just TV drama, scripted fights, staged tears, but Towanda whispered something that changed everything. I wasn't ready. I didn't want it, but I felt like I had no choice. Like if I didn't do what she said, I'd be the one pushed out. No names. No details. Not yet. Just a confession. Raw, trembling, hinting at a story darker than fans ever imagined. Later that night, Tamar accidentally walked in, saw Towanda crying, and asked what happened. Towanda looked up, eyes swollen and glossy, then said the words that froze Tamar in place. It was Mom. It was Michael Jr., and I never forgave her for it. That sentence alone shattered the room like glass. And just like that, the secret no one was supposed to know finally escaped. Long before Towanda whispered that sentence, long before cameras and contracts and family fame, there were fractures inside the Braxton home that fans never saw. On TV, they were glamorous sisters, harmonizing in studios, laughing through reality scenes, praying together at dinner tables. But behind closed doors, love was complicated, expectations were heavy, and silence was the currency of survival. Evelyn Braxton raised strong daughters, disciplined, talented, and ready to perform. She demanded perfection because perfection was the only thing she believed could break generational struggle. She was a mother, yes, but also a manager, a director, a gatekeeper. And sometimes love that strict leaves bruises no camera can capture. Towanda was always the quiet one, supportive, calm, agreeable. The sister everyone assumed didn't mind. She wasn't the breakout star like Tony. She wasn't the outspoken fireball like Tamar. She wasn't the one fans debated over like Tracy. Towanda became the glue, the sister who held the storm together while her own wins went unnoticed. People forget the middle child feels invisible easily, and invisibility makes you vulnerable. Towanda followed rules. She swallowed emotions. She learned early that peace kept the house from exploding. When disagreements rose between sisters, it was Towanda who compromised, even when it hurt her. But what the world didn't know was how deeply she resented always being the one expected to sacrifice. Whispers from family friends over the years painted a picture fans never questioned until now, that Evelyn could be controlling when it came to relationships, reputation, and which daughter stood where in the spotlight. Some said she played favorites. Some said she guided with fear. Some said she protected one career at the cost of another. Towanda lived in that shadow. And then there was Michael Jr. The family always described him as charming, charismatic, the funny one, someone everyone naturally gravitated toward. But behind family smiles, there were untold stories, late-night phone calls, jealousy among cousins, friendships turning blurry at the edges. Growing up in a home filled with music, fame, and cameras means boundaries fade easily. One rumor, never confirmed, circulated quietly for years. Towanda and Michael Jr. had a bond that made Evelyn uncomfortable. No one spoke on it publicly, but insiders hinted that Evelyn intervened more than once, steering, redirecting, managing how close family members allowed themselves to be. Some say Evelyn believed Towanda needed stability. Others believe she feared Towanda drifting away. And a few whisper something darker, that Evelyn's control wasn't always protective, sometimes it was manipulative. Fast forward years later, when Braxton family values fame exploded, and every sister had fans, critics, and storylines, Towanda's role remained small. She was the supportive actress to everyone else's spotlight, the peacekeeper, the helper, the sister who sacrificed. Pressure like that builds quietly and explodes loudly. So when Towanda broke down backstage, voice shaking as she admitted she felt pushed into something involving Michael Jr., this wasn't a random confession. It was a lifetime of silence reaching its cracking point. Tamar felt it instantly. She knew that tremble. She recognized that tight swallow before a painful truth. She'd lived her own trauma publicly before. Breakdowns, relationships tearing, betrayals splashed across television screens. So Tamar didn't speak, didn't judge, just listened. Towanda continued, voice barely above a whisper. You don't know what it's like to be told you're the strong one, so you don't get to break. I did what I was told because I was scared to be the disappointment. And Tamar finally understood. This wasn't just a rumor about Evelyn. It wasn't just about Michael Jr., it was about power. Control. A daughter who felt she never owned her own choices. The revelation shattered years of surface peace. Because if Towanda truly felt forced, emotionally, psychologically, into a situation she didn't want, then the Braxton family bonds weren't built on love alone. They were built on obedience. And obedience has a breaking point. The very next week of filming was supposed to be calm, a family brunch scene, a lighthearted moment for cameras, fans, and the network. But calm is fragile when truth is waiting behind teeth, and Towanda was done swallowing it. She arrived early, quiet, composed, face done, smile rehearsed the way a lifetime of performance teaches you. But Tamar saw the stiffness in her shoulders, the way her hands fiddled with her bracelet, the storm gathering behind her eyes. Trina felt it too. Even Tony paused when she walked in, studying Towanda like music notes she couldn't read anymore. Evelyn arrived last, glamorous, commanding, the matriarch presence that could silence a room with one look. She greeted everyone warmly except Towanda. Not out of spite, out of assumption. She assumed Towanda was fine. Towanda was always fine. But today she wasn't. The cameras rolled. Mics were clipped. Producers whispered, "Keep it natural." Plates were served, prayer was said, and small talk trickled like lukewarm water. Until Evelyn lightly mentioned Michael Jr., a harmless, nostalgic story, laughing about how close everyone used to be as kids. Towanda froze. Eyes dropped her plate. Fork stopped midair. A tremor flickered across her jaw. Tamar noticed first. Her voice cut softly. "Wanda, you good?" Towanda inhaled, slow, heavy, the kind of breath people take before jumping off a cliff. She looked at Evelyn, then at cameras, then back at her mother. "No," she said. "Calm. Clear." A word that shook the entire table. Trina blinked. Tony straightened. Evelyn frowned gently, confused. "What do you mean, no?" Towanda's voice cracked, but she didn't stop. "I'm tired of pretending things were perfect. I'm tired of acting like Mom always protected us. Because she didn't protect me." A silence so sharp it felt like glass cutting skin. Producers leaned forward behind monitors. Evelyn's smile faded. "Towanda, what are you talking about?" Towanda's hands trembled, but she kept eye contact. "You remember. Don't act like you don't. Michael Jr., I didn't want that. I wasn't ready. And you told me it would be best for the family image. You said if I didn't, I wouldn't be supported. That I would lose opportunities." Tony gasped. Trina's jaw dropped. Tamar whispered, "Oh my God." Evelyn blinked hard, the first crack in her expression. "Towanda," she said slowly, voice controlled. "You are twisting something. I never forced you. I guided you. There's a difference between direction and force." Towanda shook her head, eyes glossy. "No, Mommy." It wasn't guidance. It was pressure. And you know it. You made me feel like saying no wasn't an option. The table was no longer brunch. It was a battlefield. Evelyn's voice rose quietly, trembling with authority. "I raised you girls to be strong, to make decisions. If you did something, it was your choice." Towanda's laugh was broken, a sound filled with years of swallowed pain. "Choice. I was 19. You told me if I said no, I'd embarrass the family, that I'd ruin our future. You stood in the doorway and said, 'Don't be the reason we lose everything.' What was I supposed to do?" Tony covered her mouth. Trina whispered, "Jesus." Tamar wiped her eyes fast, trying not to cry on camera. And here came the twist no one expected. Because while the table fell into stunned silence, someone else stepped forward. A voice from the corner of the room, shaking but determined. Michael Jr. He had arrived quietly for his scene, listening from the hallway. Long enough to hear every word. "I need to speak," he said, stepping into frame. Cameras whipped around. Producers nearly tripped over equipment to catch the angle. Evelyn stiffened. Towanda stared like she'd seen a ghost she wasn't ready for. Michael's face was pale, nervous, but honest. "I didn't know you felt forced," he said to Towanda directly. I thought we were mutual. I thought you wanted it too. You never said no." Tawanda's voice shook. "I didn't know how. I was scared. I was young. I trusted Mom more than myself." Michael looked down, shame creeping up his neck. "And if I'd known that," he said, voice cracking, "I never would have touched you. Ever." The room broke. Evelyn finally lost composure. Eyes glassy, voice trembling with both anger and heartbreak. "I did what I thought was right for our family. For your career. I wanted you girls to rise. I sacrificed everything for that." Towanda snapped softly, years of emotion behind one sentence. "And you sacrificed me in the process." That line didn't just break the room. It broke Evelyn. She put her hands over her mouth and stood up, turning away so cameras wouldn't catch her tears. But cameras did. They always do. Tony stood to comfort her. Tamar grabbed Tawanda's hand under the table. Trina just cried quietly, caught between loyalty and shock. But producers? They smelled ratings. They smelled viral headlines. They knew this scene would trend for months. And somewhere in the chaos, Michael Jr. dropped one more bomb. "Towanda, I think you should tell them about the letter." Every head snapped toward him. Towanda froze. "What letter?" Tamar demanded. Michael swallowed. "The one you wrote years ago. The one you hid in Dad's Bible. The one where you said everything." Tawanda's face turned white. Tony whispered harshly, "You wrote a letter?" Towanda nodded slowly, hands shaking again. "A confession. Everything I never said out loud, because I knew no one would listen." Michael continued. "That Bible is still in the house. In the attic box. The letter should still be inside." This wasn't just drama now. This was evidence. Proof. Receipts. And if that letter surfaces, the entire Braxton legacy could fracture publicly, permanently. Careers, reputation, family loyalty, all hanging by one piece of paper. Tamar looked into the camera, not as a reality star, but as a sister terrified of what comes next. "If that letter comes out," she whispered, "we might never be the same again." The moment Michael mentioned the letter, the room changed. Not gradually, instantly. Like oxygen had been sucked out and replaced with panic. Tony paced. Trina called for a break. Tamar stared at Towanda like she was seeing a whole new woman. But Evelyn stood frozen near the window, one hand gripping the curtain as if letting go would make the truth crash through the room. She finally spoke, voice fragile but sharp. "That letter was never meant to be found." Towanda looked up slowly. "So you knew?" Silence. Evelyn didn't answer. She didn't have to. The silence was confirmation enough. Producers tried calling cut, but no one listened. Reality was more real than the show could ever script. Filming wrapped early that day, not out of professionalism, but fear. Fear of what the letter could reveal. Fear of what would happen when the public got hold of it. But news travels fast in a family full of cameras. That night, a crew member leaked a snippet online, not video, not audio, just a tweet. Towanda says Evelyn forced her into something she didn't want. There's a letter. A real one. 10 minutes, 2K retweets 1 hour, trending number 5 by morning. Hashtag Braxton letter became a cultural earthquake. Fan theories flooded TikTok. Pushpin, did Evelyn really pressure Towanda? Pushpin, what was in that letter? Pushpin, Michael admitting. This is deeper than TV. Pushpin, the letter might ruin the whole family forever. YouTube commentary channels lined up thumbnails of Towanda crying, Evelyn looking stern, Tamar clutching her chest in shock. Real clips, exaggerated titles. Everyone wanted answers. But the search for the letter that was real too. The family gathered at the old home Evelyn kept, cluttered with memories, trophies, unopened boxes from a past the world celebrated but never fully understood. Cameras followed, but producers kept distance. This wasn't performance. This was excavation. The attic was dusty, filled with boxes labeled Tony Tour 98, studio rehearsals, Dad's Bibles, family Christmas. Towanda's hands shook as she opened the one marked with her father's name. Inside, hymn books, loose photos, a sermon note, and at the bottom, a worn Bible with gold edges faded by time. Her breath hitched. Her fingers traced the cover. Everyone leaned in, Tamar holding her breath, Tony whispering a prayer, Trina rubbing her arms like the air turned cold. Towanda slowly flipped through the pages. Nothing, 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 until a folded sheet slipped out and fell to the floor like a feather carrying a lifetime of weight. This was it. The room froze. Tamar grabbed Towanda's hand. "Are you sure you want to read it?" Towanda nodded. Even though her lips trembled, she unfolded it. Her voice cracked on the first line. "I'm writing this because speaking hurts too much." Tears filled her eyes. She continued, "Mom says I have to do it, that it's for our career. But I don't want to. I'm scared. I feel like a child pretending to be grown." The room went silent except for Towanda's uneven breaths. Michael is kind, but kindness doesn't equal consent. And I don't know how to say no without losing everything. Evelyn stepped forward, shaking. "That's not the whole story," she pleaded. But Towanda wasn't finished. "If anyone finds this one day, no, I didn't choose. I obeyed. Because I was taught obedience was love." Towanda dropped the paper, sank to the floor, collapsed into Tamar's arms as decades of silence shattered. Tony stood in shock, hand over her heart. Trina sobbed openly. Michael leaned against the wall, guilt weighing like chains. Evelyn knelt slowly, tears streaming, the strong matriarch finally broken. "I thought I was protecting you," she whispered. "I thought sacrifice was love. I didn't see the harm. I swear I didn't see it." Towanda looked up, pain, love, anger tangled in her gaze. "You saw it. You just ignored it." And here came the second major twist, the one no one expected. Because while cameras captured the emotional breakdown, someone else was recording from a hallway. Ashley, quiet, watching, phone raised. She posted a clip, not of the confession, but of Evelyn crying. Caption: "Y'all always think Tamar the messy one. But look deeper. This family been broken." And it blew up instantly. Within 30 minutes. Fire 500K views. Fire Shade Room repost. Fire fans demanding Evelyn speak. Fire others calling Towanda courageous. Fire rumors spiraling faster than truth could follow. But the worst part? The letter itself leaked. A blurred screenshot made its way to Twitter, then TikTok, then Reddit threads with millions of eyes dissecting every sentence. Lines were highlighted, words misinterpreted, entire narratives twisted for entertainment. What was once Towanda's private pain became public spectacle, and the world chose sides without knowing the full story. Some crowned Towanda a survivor. Others called Evelyn a villain. Michael was dragged mercilessly, even though he apologized. Tamar was blamed for letting it air. Tony was dragged for staying silent too long. Ashley was accused of exploiting family trauma. The Braxtons weren't just trending. They were burning. And just when it seemed this was the peak, Michael Jr. DM'd a reporter. "I'm ready to tell everything if the family keeps lying." The war was officially public. By sunrise, the Braxton name wasn't trending. It was dominating. Blogs ran headlines like wildfire. Towanda's letter breaks the family. Evelyn's past exposed. Fans demand accountability. Michael Jr. responds, says more secrets ready to drop. Talk shows invited therapists, pastors, and entertainment reporters to debate what happened. Twitter Spaces ran all night. YouTube reactors streamed for 6 hours straight. TikTok stitched the letter into dramatic voiceovers with storm sound effects. Everyone had an opinion. But the family? They were in survival mode. Toni, always the calm eldest, tried to strategize damage control. She contacted PR teams, drafted possible statements, even spoke privately with WeTV producers. She begged them not to air the scene in full. "They're my family, not a storyline," she said, voice trembling. But producers only saw ratings. And ratings mean revenue. Meanwhile, Tamar, emotional, protective, furious, went live on Instagram. Eyes puffy. Voice raw. "I love my mother. I love my sister. But pain is pain, even inside a gospel home. Towanda deserves to speak her truth." We all do. Fans flooded the chat. Some praising her honesty. Others accusing her of enjoying the chaos. "Y'all think this is entertainment," Tamar said. "But this is our real life. Our real trauma. And some of us been bleeding in private for years." It was the most vulnerable she had ever been, and it broke the internet again. Towanda watched from home. She didn't comment or share. She just sat on the edge of her bed, letter in one hand, phone buzzing nonstop in the other. But she didn't go live, didn't post, didn't speak. The woman who stayed silent for years had finally opened her wound, and now silence felt like the only way to breathe. Across town, Evelyn prepared her own response. Sitting at her dining table, Bible beside her, tissues scattered like white flags of surrender. She wasn't filming a scene. This was a mother terrified the world was turning against her. She pressed record on her phone. "I am not a perfect mother, but I have loved my children with everything God gave me." Her voice cracked. "If I pushed my baby too hard, if I made mistakes, it was never to hurt her. It was to protect them all." Some heard remorse. Others heard justification. But either way, the internet devoured it. Comments split like a church congregation choosing pews. Team Towanda. She was forced emotionally. Survival isn't consent. Let her heal. Team Evelyn. Parents make tough choices. She did her best. This is a family matter. Michael Jr., watching everything ignite, sent another message to the reporter. "I'll do the interview tomorrow, but only if they keep lying." The threat spread like smoke. Tamar called him instantly, voice sharp. "Don't you dare blow this wider than it already is." Michael's response was ice cold. "It's already burning. I'm just deciding whether I'll watch or pour gasoline." Tamar hung up shaking. Trina, caught between sisters, tried to mediate quietly, texting Towanda and Evelyn separately, voice noting prayers, begging everyone to breathe before things turned irreversible. But the public didn't breathe. They escalated. Memes, edits, conspiracies, timeline threads tracking every family argument from past seasons. Clips resurfaced, moments where Towanda looked uncomfortable, where Evelyn raised her voice, where Michael hugged her too long. Fans reinterpreted everything through the new lens. And then the most painful blow, brand partners began pulling back. 2 sponsors paused contracts with Towanda. A talk show postponed Evelyn's guest appearance. Networks asked questions. This wasn't drama anymore. It was livelihood, reputation, legacy. Towanda finally broke her silence with a single tweet. "I didn't speak to destroy my family. I spoke because silence was destroying me." The tweet hit millions. But instead of calming the storm, it triggered round 2. Because Ashley, bold, unfiltered, fed up, quote tweeted it with fire. And she still ain't told the whole truth. Fans gasped. Blog pages screenshot. Producers panicked. What whole truth? Before anyone recovered, Ashley posted again. "Part 2 is coming. Y'all not ready." She attached a blurred image. A screenshot of a second page from the letter. But she didn't reveal it. She just wrote, "The line that changes everything is here." Towanda froze. Evelyn cried harder. Michael texted 3 question marks. Tamar called back to back. Toni dropped her wine glass. Because no one, not even Towanda, remembered what was written on page 2. And if Ashley truly had it, the next reveal wouldn't just break the family. It might expose who pressured Towanda and why. Ashley didn't wait long. At exactly 9:47 p.m., when the internet was already foaming with theories and live streams were running like news stations, she posted the second image. Not censored, not cropped. The entire second page of Towanda's letter, handwritten, tear-stained, trembling ink, now belonged to the world. Fans zoomed in instantly. The handwriting slanted. Words crossed out. Sentences broken like the girl writing them was breaking too. But one line, highlighted by Ashley, sent shockwaves through the entire fandom. It read, "I didn't want it, but they said it would protect Tony's career and keep Tamar from embarrassing the family." Not Mom said. Not he said. Not Michael said. They said. Plural. Shared responsibility. More than one person involved. Suddenly the narrative twisted. If the reason Towanda felt pressured involved protecting Tony and Tamar, then the question changed completely. Was Evelyn the only one behind it? Or did the sisters unknowingly benefit from Towanda's sacrifice? Comments exploded instantly. Who was they? Was Tony protected at Towanda's expense? Did Tamar unknowingly profit from this? This just went deeper than Evelyn versus Towanda. The internet turned feral. Within 10 minutes, Tamar went live, face bare, voice shaking with disbelief and betrayal. "I never asked my sister to do anything for my career. I didn't even know about that letter. Nobody told me. Nobody," she sobbed. Not performative, painful sobs. The sound of someone realizing her success might have been built on a sister's silence. Tony called in mid-live, voice firm like steel wrapped in grief. "Tam, end the live. We need to talk as a family. Now." But fans screen recorded every second. Nothing unsaid stays private anymore. While Tamar cried to thousands, Towanda sat alone in her living room, staring at the leaked image. She whispered to herself, "I wrote that page. But I never meant it this way." She wasn't accusing her sisters. She was expressing how she felt abandoned, overshadowed, expected to hold the weight so others could shine. Whether Tony or Tamar knew or not wasn't clear. The letter didn't accuse them. It revealed how Towanda perceived her role. Perception becomes reality when the world is watching. Evelyn called, voice broken. "Baby, you said they told you." "Who is they?" Towanda closed her eyes. "I don't remember exact faces, just voices. Pressure. Fear." "But did I say it?" Evelyn asked desperately. Towanda whispered, "I don't know anymore. I just know I wasn't heard." And that was the tragedy. Memory blurred by trauma. Silence sharpened by years. No clean villain. No easy truth. Just wounds. But the twist wasn't over. Because while the family scrambled to understand the leak, Michael Jr. posted a tweet. "Y'all blaming the wrong person. They wasn't Evelyn. They wasn't Tamar. They wasn't Tony. They was the label." The whole internet froze. The label? If the decision came from management, producers, profit-driven executives, then this wasn't just a family scandal. It could be a cover-up, a forced situation for image, a Hollywood machine story the world has heard too many times before. Fans gasped. Bloggers refreshed updates. Legal teams started typing. And then Michael dropped a bomb. "I have the voicemail. The one from the exec." Screenshots attached. A saved voice memo. Timestamp. Label contact name. Not yet released, but promised. Comments flooded like a dam bursting. "Drop it. Release the receipt. We want the truth." Towanda's phone buzzed nonstop. Tamar begged him not to leak it. Tony demanded the family speak privately. Evelyn prayed loudly in the background. But Michael ended his tweet with a single chilling line. "If they keep lying, I'll release everything tomorrow." Fade to black. No resolution. No answer. Just one burning question hanging like smoke over the legacy. When that voicemail drops, will it exonerate the family or destroy them forever? Because the next chapter won't be about secrets. It will be about survival. And when the truth finally comes out, someone's career, reputation, or relationship will not survive it. So now we're here, not at the end of the story, but standing on the edge of what might become the biggest Braxton family scandal ever recorded. A leaked letter. a broken mother, a sister finally speaking after decades of silence, and now a voicemail that could flip everything we think we know. Let's make this clear. We're not watching a show anymore. We're watching a family unravel in real time, piece by painful piece, truth by truth, leak by leak. And the world is no longer just observing. The world is participating. So ask yourself, was Towanda pressured by Evelyn, or by industry executives protecting the Braxton brand? Did Tony and Tamar unknowingly benefit from her pain, or were they in the dark like the rest of us? And when Michael drops that voicemail, will it clear names or burn bridges permanently? Because if that audio hits the internet, we might finally hear the voice that said she has to do it. And the moment that happens, someone is going to fall, publicly. This is bigger than reality TV. This is legacy. This is trauma. This is truth fighting its way out. And we need you in the conversation. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Team Towanda? Team Evelyn? Team Tony and Tamar? Or Team Receipts? Eyes. Who do you believe? Hit like if you think the voicemail will leak. Hit subscribe if you want every update first. Turn on notifications because when part 2 drops, we are going all the way into the voicemail, the executives behind it, and the truth they never wanted public. Stay locked in. Stay vocal. Stay watching. Because this story, it's not over. It's about to explode. Fire.